Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today we're going to talk about what is the best clear coat for Hydrographics. We actually get asked this a lot, and of course the real answer is there is a lot of great clear coats out there, but I kind of wanted to touch on a few that we use all the time here in the shop, and we really feel like they are really great clears. So of course clear coats can be broken down into two main categories. You have a flat clear and then you have a gloss clear. So of course gloss is pretty much what you see on almost every car that's made. It has a nice shiny finish and of course looks beautiful in the sunlight and all of that. And then of course on the flip side you have the flat clear. Now of course flat clear looks like it almost has nothing on it because it has no sheen, it has no reflection. So of course whenever you're doing guns or four-wheelers or anything like that, that is definitely going to be the sheen that most customers are going to want. And so by knowing what the customers want, you will also know what products you need to use. And so let's kind of dive into a couple of these that we use here at the shop and the reasons why, and also why we feel like they are really good for that application. So of course, first up is going to be a high solids glamour clear, or of course what we also use is going to be a Euro clear. So these two are going to be very, very comparable. And so the reason we use these is going to be a couple of things. Number one, it's a very high solids clear, which means that you're going to get a lot of better quality clear coat for the money that you're paying, as well as you're also going to get a lot better UV resistance, possibly chip resistance, and a lot stronger coating overall because it's not just filled with a lot of fillers and solvents that evaporate later. It's actually more of a solids type of clear coat. So with something like this, on an application wise, normally we're going to be using these on, of course, our automotive or anything like that. So whenever we're doing wheels or we're doing engine covers or anything like that, that is really show quality, and we want something that even if it's going to be outside all day, every day, maybe we did a spoiler for a car or anything like that, that's where these clears are really going to come in handy, and they're going to work really well because that's what they were made for. And of course, with them being a good quality clear, they're going to stand up long-term wise and not fade over time or yellow or anything like that. Now the one drawback to this, and it's not really a drawback, but one thing to keep in mind is that with these two clear coats that we have, you are going to have to let these sit a little bit longer. So whenever you're spraying these, you're going to want to make sure that you leave these overnight before you even give them back to the customer or get ready for any type of buffing or polishing. Also, with these types of clears, you're going to get a lot better quality finish coming straight out of the gun. So if you leave it and it looks just like glass, then normally whenever you come back the next morning, it's going to look like glass as well. And that's where the really good quality clears like these right here really come in handy. So another option that you have on a high gloss clear coat is going to be a quick dry clear. Now, quick dry clears are a lot faster drying, and they have a really great application for certain customers. And so let's say that you have a shop that is maybe not quite the best as far as dust free, or maybe you don't have a paint booth or something like that. So one thing that makes the quick dry clears really great is that of course they dry quickly. Now of course a lot of the times you sometimes sacrifice UV resistance, or you sacrifice the sheen that it looks coming straight out of the gun, but with the quick dry clear that we actually have, it actually works really, really well. And so you don't get a lot of shrinkage, you don't get a lot of dieback where the sheen looks glossy and then after it's dried it actually goes back to a more flatter sheen. You don't get that with this. And so with a quick dry clear, you're going to want to use this whenever you don't have the best shop conditions, mainly being that you can spray it, and then if your shop is maybe dirty or something like that, then it dries very quickly, so you get less dust nibs, and of course you're still putting out a good quality finish. And of course the other thing is if you're in a pinch and you need something done very quickly, of course that's where the quick dry is definitely what it's made for. And of course, with a quick dry clear, just like all the others, you can buff and polish them and everything comes out looking amazing. So once you get used to spraying it and you get everything dialed in, you can make a quick dry clear look just as good as any of the other two that we just talked about. So of course, on the other side of the spectrum, you have flat clears. So with flat clears, of course, what you're going to have is you're going to have multiple sheens of flat. And as you probably know, with interior painting or anything like that, you have different sheens. And so you have a satin sheen, an eggshell, a flat, a semi-gloss, and all of those different sheens. And so of course, that's how much gloss is coming through on that outer sheen. And so with a flat clear, sometimes you can actually change the hardener or the ratio of different components in that to give a different look. And so that's the nice thing that we really like about our flat clear, is that you can do this. Now again, there's other flat clears out there that work really well, but with something like this, our flat clear, it works really well as well, because you can actually change the sheen from a flat sheen all the way to a semi-gloss, just depending on how you want the product to come out. So if you have a customer that doesn't want a totally flat look, but does want a more of a kind of a semi-gloss, that's where it's going to be really handy to have something that you can adjust in accordance for that. So of course, with a flat sheen, normally you don't have to worry about UV resistance quite as much, because most of the time, most UV resistant type of sheens that are flat are not going to be outside as much. And so normally, of course, four-wheelers are going to be the main reason that you would use a UV resistant type of flat clear. But of course, if you think about guns or anything like that that's more of a flatter sheen, most of the time you don't have to worry about UV resistance as much. So most of the time, the UV resistance is not going to be quite as good on a flatter sheen as it is on a high gloss, but it also depends on the product that you're using. Of course, with the flat sheen, I'm not going to lie, it is very nice because it does hide a lot of any imperfections that you may have in your coating. And so whereas the gloss sheen will of course magnify everything that is underneath the coating, makes your colors brighter, more vibrant, everything like that, the flat sheen is pretty much going to do almost the total opposite. It's going to make everything dull. It's going to make everything to where now you don't see any imperfection. So if you have dust nibs or if you have things like that, a lot of the times the flat sheen is going to hide that a lot better, because it's not going to catch a reflection and draw your eye or attention to it. Now again, the nib will still be there, the defect will still be there, but it definitely does draw your attention away from that. So that's where a flat sheen, whenever you're spraying that with your clear coats, can actually be really helpful. So as you can see, whether you're choosing from a flat clear or a gloss clear, you definitely need to protect the coating itself. And so by choosing the right coating for the job will really make the coating last, and of course be more UV resistant, more chip resistant, scratch resistant, and all of that as well. And of course, it's going to make sure that it weathers outside very well. So I know this is of course quick and simple video, but hopefully this gives you a really good understanding on some of the best products that you can use for the Hydrographics. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, and definitely leave them below. We'd love to hear from you on anything Hydrographics related, as well as clear coat related as well. Of course, there are tons of clear coats out there on the market. These are a few that we use, and of course we use all the time, every day. So all the videos that you see, these are the same products that we're using. So if you're interested in any of these, definitely check the links in the description below. We're gonna have links to all of these that we've talked about, as well as definitely check out the website. It has everything that you need for anything Hydrographics related as well, from equipment to training to tanks and so much more. It's all there on the website. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.